The loudest person in the room is almost never the most powerful. Think about the people who command the most respect in your life. Do they scream? Do they wave their hands frantically? Do they desperately try to prove their worth? No. They are the ones who sit in the corner, observing everything with a gaze that feels like it's made of cold granite. They are the ones who don't feel the need to fill the silence. They are the ones who dominate without ever applying visible pressure. This is the paradox of power. Most people believe that dominance is about force. They think it's about having the loudest voice, the biggest muscles, or the most aggressive personality. They are wrong. Real dominance is the ability to remain unaffected by the environment around you. It is the ability to be the only point of stillness in a room full of panic. When you are calm while everyone else is losing their minds, you aren't just staying cool, you are seizing the throne. In this exploration, we are going to tear down the Hollywood myth of the aggressive alpha and replace it with the sovereign mind. We will show you how to dominate through restraint, how to lead through silence, and how to win every social interaction without ever breaking a sweat. Welcome back to the Inner Citadel. Today, we learn the art of crushing your opposition with nothing but your presence. Physics tells us that the more massive an object is, the more gravity it exerts. In the psychological world, mass is not physical weight. It is emotional density. The average person is emotionally light. They are easily moved. A small insult, a piece of bad news, or a change in the weather is enough to blow them off course. Because they are light, they have no gravity. They are the ones being pulled into other people's orbits. But a calm person, a person with high emotional density, has massive gravity. When you refuse to react to someone's provocation, you are demonstrating that your internal world is more massive than their external attack. You are the planet, and they are the debris crashing into your atmosphere. They expect you to move, to flinch, to argue. When you don't, they are forced to deal with your gravity. This stillness creates a psychological phenomenon called the authority gap. In the absence of your reaction, the other person begins to feel small. Their aggression starts to look like desperation. Their insults start to look like cries for attention. By doing nothing, you have made them the subordinate. You have dominated them simply by being too heavy to move. In the wild, there is a clear distinction between the movement of a predator and the movement of prey. Prey is frantic. It scans the horizon constantly. Its ears twitch at every sound. It moves in short, jagged bursts of nervous energy. It is trying to survive, and its biology betrays its fear. The predator, however, moves with total economy. A tiger does not fidget. An owl does not look around nervously. When a predator moves, it is because it has decided to act. Its stillness is not laziness. It is the highest form of readiness. When you are in a social or professional environment, and you are constantly checking your phone, tapping your foot, or shifting your eyes to see if people are looking at you, you are communicating prey energy. You are signaling to the world that you are uncomfortable and reactive. Dominating without pressure means adopting the predator's economy. You move slowly, you speak deliberately, you blink less. When someone addresses you, you don't snap your head toward them immediately. You turn slowly with intention. This signals that you are the one in control of your time and your focus. You are not a creature of reaction. You are a creature of intent. And in the human jungle, the creature of intent is always the one at the top of the food chain. The most terrifying thing you can encounter in a social interaction is not a man who is screaming, but a man who is completely silent and comfortable. Most people use words to shield themselves. They talk to hide their insecurities, to mask their lack of knowledge, or to bridge the gap of social anxiety. When you take those words away, you are exposing the raw nerves of the interaction. The man who dominates without pressure understands the power of the void. When you are asked a question, or when someone makes a demand of you, you do not need to rush to fill the space. By waiting 3 to 5 seconds before responding, you are signaling that you are not under the thumb of the social clock. You are operating on your own time. This silence acts as a vacuum that sucks the confidence out of your opponent. They will start to wonder if they said something wrong, if they are being judged, or if you know something they don't. In the void, people will negotiate against themselves. They will offer more information than they intended. They will lower their price, they will apologize, and they will reveal their true motives, all because they cannot handle the pressure of your stillness. You aren't doing anything to them. You are simply allowing their own anxiety to do the work for you. You are the mirror, and the void shows them exactly how weak they truly are. Most men are yes men. They are terrified of disappointing people because they crave social validation. They agree to things they don't want to do, they laugh at jokes that aren't funny, and they apologize for things that aren't their fault. Every time you say yes just to avoid tension, you are bleeding status. You are showing that you value the other person's comfort more than your own boundaries. The man who dominates correctly masters the status no. This is not a no born of anger or spite. It is a no born of absolute self-governance. When you refuse an offer or a request with total calm, you are communicating that your time and your mission are non-negotiable. You don't need to give a long, rambling explanation. An explanation is a plea for forgiveness. The sovereign refusal. I can't do that. Or that doesn't work for me. By being comfortable with the disappointment of others, you demonstrate that you are not a puppet. You are the source of your own laws. People instinctively respect the man who can say no without flinching, because it signals that he possesses something they don't. A core that cannot be bought or bullied. Your refusal becomes a sign of your high value, making your eventual yes 10 times more meaningful. Communication is only 7% verbal. The rest is body language and facial micro-expressions. Most people have transparent faces. You can see their doubt in the way they furrow their brow. You can see their desperation in their forced wide smiles. You can see their anger in the way their nostrils flare. Because they are readable, they are manageable. Dominance without pressure requires the mask of neutrality. This is not a poker face that looks like a wooden board. It is a face that is relaxed, open, and utterly unreactive. When you receive a direct insult or a piece of shocking news, your expression does not change. Your eyebrows don't move. Your mouth doesn't tighten. This lack of facial feedback is deeply unsettling to others. Humans are biologically programmed to look for reactions to calibrate their behavior. When you deny them that reaction, they lose their map. They don't know if they are winning or losing. They don't know if you are angry or amused. This strategic ambiguity forces them to be more cautious around you. They begin to treat you with the same respect they would give to a sleeping predator. They don't want to be the one who finally wakes you up. By controlling your face, you control the perception of your soul. In the modern world, everyone is in a rush. People run to meetings, they talk fast, they eat fast, and they react fast. We are told that fast means productive. But in the hidden language of social hierarchy, hurry is the signature of the servant. The person who is rushing is the person who is late to fulfill someone else's expectations. They are under the pressure of a clock they do not control. When you see someone scurrying down a hallway or fidgeting nervously while waiting for an elevator, you are seeing a person who is not the master of their own time. The man who dominates without pressure moves at the sovereign pace. He understands that time is a resource that he dictates. He moves with a deliberate rhythmic slowness. He doesn't scurry. When he enters a room, he takes his time to scan the environment before choosing where to sit or stand. This isn't about being lazy. It's about being unbothered. By moving slowly, you communicate to everyone around you that there is nothing more important than what you are doing right now. You are the one who sets the tempo, and others must adjust their speed to match yours. This is a subtle but absolute form of dominance. The person who sets the rhythm of the interaction is the one who owns it. Most people, when faced with an aggressor or a loudmouth, make one of two mistakes. They either look away, submission, or they engage in a hostile staring contest, reactive aggression. Both of these responses give the other person exactly what they want: your attention and your emotional energy. The man who dominates correctly uses the look-through technique. Instead of focusing on the person's eyes with intensity or anger, you look through them as if they are a window. Your gaze is relaxed, almost bored. You are observing them not as a threat, but as a minor environmental distraction like a fly buzzing or a distant noise. When someone is shouting or trying to intimidate you and you look at them with this void gaze, you are communicating the ultimate insult. They are not important enough to warrant your reaction. You aren't fighting them. You are invalidating their existence. This creates a massive psychological collapse in the aggressor. They realize that their theater is failing. They feel like a child throwing a tantrum in front of a statue. By refusing to acknowledge their power, you have stripped them of it completely. There is a massive difference between a man who shouts an order and a man who whispers a direction. The man who shouts is relying on volume to overcome his lack of natural authority. He is trying to force compliance. The man who speaks quietly, however, is signaling that he expects to be heard. Dominating correctly requires the use of the quiet command. When you give an instruction or state a boundary, you lower your volume. You speak from the diaphragm, making your voice deep and resonant, but you keep the decibels low. This forces the other person to stop what they are doing and lean in to hear you. In that moment, you have physically manipulated their body into a submissive posture. They are literally bowing toward you just to hear your words. Furthermore, a quiet command is terrifying because it suggests that you don't need to yell to get results. It suggests that you have hidden levels of power that you haven't even begun to tap into. It is the vocal equivalent of a sheathed sword. You don't need to draw it. The mere presence of the hilt is enough. When you speak quietly and expect obedience, you are operating at the highest level of social dominance. The average person is a slave to social harmony. They are terrified of awkwardness. When there is a lull in conversation, they panic. When someone looks at them without smiling, they feel a desperate need to perform, to tell a joke, to apologize, or to offer a compliment. They are emotionally fragile, and their comfort depends entirely on the approval of others. The man who dominates without pressure uses the comfortable discomfort protocol. He is perfectly at peace with the awkwardness that makes others squirm. In fact, he uses it as a litmus test. By being too calm or too still, you create a social vacuum. While everyone else is busy trying to be likable, you simply exist. You sit in your chair with a relaxed spine, your hands still, and you watch the room. This level of comfort in the face of tension is a massive display of high status. People will subconsciously think, "Why is he so relaxed? What does he know that I don't?" Because you are comfortable with the discomfort, you are the one in control. You aren't adjusting yourself to fit the room. You are forcing the room to adjust to you. This is how you dominate correctly, not by attacking, but by being the only person who doesn't feel the need to seek permission for his presence. We are taught that to be dominant, we must be the center of attention. We are told to be the life of the party or the loudest voice in the boardroom. This is a low-status trap. The more you are seen, the more common you become. The more you speak, the more predictable you are. Real dominance involves the strategic disappearance. The man who dominates correctly understands that his presence is a high-value currency. If you are always available, always responding to messages instantly, and always there to fill every social gap, your value drops to zero. You become a commodity. But when you are willing to walk away, when you are the first to leave the meeting or the one who doesn't show up to every trivial event, you create an aura of scarcity. Your absence speaks louder than your words. It forces people to wonder where you are and what you are doing. It creates a myth around your character. When you finally do appear, your presence has 10 times the impact because it is rare. You dominate the thoughts of others even when you aren't in the room. This is the ultimate hidden advantage. Being so self-sufficient that you don't need the crowd, which inevitably makes the crowd desperate for you. Arguments are the death of dominance. The moment you enter an argument, you have already lost. Why? Because an argument is an admission that the other person's opinion is a threat to your reality. It shows that you are reactive. It shows that you are hackable. The man who dominates correctly uses the iron boundary. Instead of arguing when someone challenges your rules or your time, you simply state the reality and remain unmoved. The low-status response. "Why are you late? You always do this. It's so disrespectful." High emotion, low power. The sovereign response. "I don't wait longer than 10 minutes. Since you're late, we'll have to reschedule for another time." Zero emotion, absolute power. By refusing to engage in the back and forth of an argument, you are signaling that your boundaries are not up for debate. They are as fixed as the laws of physics. You don't need to get angry. You don't need to shout. You just need to follow through with the consequence of the broken boundary. This cold enforcement of your rules makes you look like a sovereign ruler rather than a frustrated child. People will stop trying to push your buttons because they realize your buttons don't exist. Only your rules do. When you are calm, you possess a superpower that the reactive man will never understand. Vision. When someone is trying to dominate you through pressure, noise, or aggression, they are essentially wearing their insecurities on their sleeve. An aggressive person is a person who is terrified of losing control. A loud person is a person who is terrified of being ignored. The man who dominates without pressure practices dark empathy. While the other person is shouting or posturing, you aren't listening to their words. You are reading their code. You are looking at the micro tremors in their hands, the slight cracking of their voice, and the desperation in their eyes. By remaining silent and calm, you force them to keep performing, and the longer they perform, the more they reveal their weaknesses. You start to see exactly what they are afraid of. You see their need for approval. You see their fear of being found incompetent. Once you have this map of their soul, you don't need to apply pressure. You simply need to wait for them to defeat themselves. You are the psychiatrist, and they are the patient on the couch, screaming because they don't know how to handle the silence you've provided. In video games, the final boss doesn't run around the screen frantically. He sits on a throne. He waits for you to come to him. He moves with massive, deliberate power. In the real world, you can cultivate this same aura of untouchability. This is built through the refusal to be startled. Most people are jumpy. A loud noise, a sudden change in plans, or a sharp comment makes them flinch. This flinch is a biological signal of low status. It shows that you are a subordinate to your environment. To dominate correctly, you must train your nervous system to be unstartlable. If someone slams a door, you don't turn your head. If someone insults you, you blink slowly and wait 3 seconds before acknowledging they spoke. This lag in your reaction time tells the world that your internal world is so stable that external events cannot ripple it. You become the final boss of your social circle. People begin to feel that they need to level up just to be worthy of your attention. You haven't threatened anyone. You've simply demonstrated that you are on a different plane of existence. Information is the currency of power. The more people know about your plans, your feelings, and your weaknesses, the more they can control you. Most people are oversharers. They talk about their problems, their successes, and their fears to anyone who will listen. They think they are building connection, but they are actually giving away their leverage. The man who dominates without pressure uses strategic ambiguity. He doesn't lie, but he doesn't reveal. He speaks in broad, confident terms that leave people guessing. When someone asks him, "What are you working on?" he doesn't give a 10-minute presentation. He says, "Something that requires my full focus," and he stops talking. This lack of detail creates a gravity well of curiosity. Because people don't know your limits, they assume you have none. Because they don't know your fears, they assume you are fearless. By keeping your mouth shut and your plans private, you dominate the imagination of others. They will build a version of you in their minds that is far more powerful than any reality could ever be. We have discussed the sovereign pace of the body, but the most important pace is the pace of your eyes. In the animal kingdom, high-frequency blinking is a sign of stress, submission, and fear. The prey blinks constantly to keep its eyes moist and ready to flee. The apex predator, however, can stare for minutes without a single flicker of the eyelid. To dominate without pressure, you must master the slow blink. When you are in a high-stakes conversation, or when someone is trying to pressure you into a decision, consciously reduce your blink rate. This sends a direct signal to your own brain to lower your cortisol levels, and it sends a chilling signal to the other person. It shows that you are hyper-focused and completely unafraid. When you do blink, do it slowly and deliberately. It should look like a choice, not a reflex. This visual stillness makes you look like a statue brought to life. It makes your gaze feel heavy, like physical pressure. You are dominating their visual field without ever raising a finger. One of the most common ways men bleed power is through the habit of over-justification. When they say no, they give 5 reasons why. When they are late, they tell a long story about traffic. When they make a decision, they try to convince everyone why it was the right one. This is the behavior of a servant seeking approval from a master. The man who dominates correctly understands that authority does not explain itself. When you make a decision, you state it. When you set a boundary, you declare it. If someone asks why, you can choose to give a brief, logical reason, or you can simply say, because that is the decision I've made. By refusing to justify your existence, you are signaling that you are the highest authority in your own life. This forces others to either accept your reality or leave it. Most people faced with such absolute certainty will choose to accept it. They will stop questioning you and start following you, simply because you are the only person who acts like he knows exactly what he's doing. Most people are terrified of silence. They feel a physical itch to fill any gap in a conversation. They think silence is awkward. But the man of the hidden advantage knows that silence is a tool of interrogation. When you ask someone a question and they give you a weak or evasive answer, do not follow up immediately. Do not challenge them. Just look at them and wait. Maintain eye contact. Keep your face neutral. The silence will become heavy. It will start to feel like an interrogation. Because the other person is reactive, they will feel a desperate need to fix the silence. They will start talking again. They will justify their previous answer. They will eventually admit the truth or reveal their insecurity. By being comfortable in the silence, you have forced them to break themselves. You have dominated the interaction without saying a single word. True dominance is tested when things go wrong. Most people are fair-weather leaders. They look cool when things are easy. But the moment a crisis hits, a glass breaks, a deal fails, an insult is hurled, they flinch, they gasp, they look around for help. The non-flinch protocol is the practice of maintaining total physical stillness in the face of sudden stimuli. If someone drops a tray of glasses behind you, you don't jump. If someone shouts in your face, you don't blink. If you receive a text with devastating news, your facial muscles do not move. You train yourself to process information before you react to it. This stoic gap between the event and your response is where your power lives. When the world sees that you do not flinch, they realize that you cannot be shocked into submission. You become a permanent fixture of the environment, a rock that the tide cannot move. In any social exchange, the person who is invested more is the one with less power. The person who is leaning in more, talking more, and trying harder to be liked is the subordinate. The person who is low investment, the one who is leaning back, listening, and observing, is the dominant one. To dominate without pressure, you must master low investment interaction. You don't laugh at every joke. You smile slightly if it's actually funny. You don't answer every question immediately. You take your time. You don't chase people. You let them come to you. By being the person who needs the interaction the least, you become the most valuable person in it. You are the prize. People will naturally try harder to win your approval, to make you laugh, and to keep your attention. You have dominated the room simply by being the person who is least bothered by the outcome. Dominance is not a performance you put on. It is a state of being that you train in private. Most people fail to stay calm because their facial muscles are leaky. They have decades of muscle memory tied to anxiety, pleading, and reaction. To dominate without pressure, you must undergo the stone face training. This is a specific meditation where you sit in front of a mirror for 20 minutes a day. You do not look for your flaws. You do not groom yourself. You simply observe your face in a state of absolute, total relaxation. You focus on the muscles around your eyes, your jaw, and your mouth. You look for the micro-tensions, the tiny clenching of the jaw or the slight furrowing of the brow, and you consciously release them. The goal is to reach a state where your face is like a lake at dawn, perfectly still, perfectly flat. When you take this stone face into the world, you realize that people become uncomfortable. Why? Because they can't read you. In the absence of your facial cues, people have nothing to latch onto. They start to project their own insecurities onto you. They think you are judging them, or that you are vastly more intelligent than they are, simply because you aren't leaking emotion. You have dominated their perception by providing them with nothing but a reflection of their own chaos. We have touched on the quiet command, but we must go deeper into the frequency of authority. Your voice is a physical vibration. High-frequency sounds, high pitch, are biologically associated with distress and submission. Think of a whimpering dog or a screaming child. Low-frequency sounds, low pitch, are associated with large, powerful predators. The man who dominates correctly speaks from his mask and chest, not his throat. The death of upspeak. The greatest killer of status is upspeak, the habit of ending every sentence on a higher pitch, as if you are asking a question. This signals to the listener that you are seeking validation. A sovereign man speaks in downward inflections. His sentences end on a lower, firmer note. This sounds like a final judgment, a law that has been written in stone. The resonance of the diaphragm. When you speak, you should feel your chest vibrate. This low-frequency hum has a literal calming effect on the nervous system of those around you. You aren't shouting for attention. You are vibrating with authority. People will stop talking just to hear the sound of your conviction. Your posture is the pre-verbal signal you send to every room you enter. Most people occupy as little space as possible. They hunch their shoulders to protect their soft front, their throat and stomach, a classic defensive posture seen in prey animals. They cross their arms, they cross their legs, and they pull their chin down. To dominate without pressure, you must adopt postural sovereignty. The open front. You keep your shoulders back and your chest open. This signals that you do not fear an attack. You are exposing your vital organs because you are confident that no one in the room is a threat. The still spine. A man of high status does not fidget. He does not adjust his tie every 5 seconds. He does not shift his weight. When he sits like a king on a throne, feet flat on the floor, hands relaxed on his lap or the armrests. This stillness is expensive energy. It shows that you are so comfortable in your environment that you don't feel the need to move. While others are burning energy through nervous tics, you are conserving yours, growing more massive in the eyes of everyone watching. In every office, every social circle, and every online forum, there are agitators, people whose only goal is to pull you down to their level of reactive chaos. They will use sarcasm, negging, or direct insults to try and trigger a leak in your emotional discipline. The man who dominates correctly uses social Aikido. In Aikido, you don't meet force with force. You allow the opponent's force to carry them into a void. When an agitator insults you, do not defend yourself. Defense is a sign of weakness. Instead, you use the clinical observation. You look at them for a long moment, tilt your head slightly, and say something entirely neutral. That's a very specific observation. Or, you seem quite invested in this topic. Then you return to whatever you were doing. You haven't fought them. You've simply treated their attack as a curious biological specimen. By refusing to give them the fight they want, you make them look small, petty, and ignored. You have dominated the interaction by proving that their best shot didn't even leave a scratch on your armor. Dominance is not just about how you enter a room. It's about how you leave it. Most people are sticky in social situations. They linger. They wait for a natural lull. They ask for permission to go, "Well, I should probably get going now, if that's okay." This is the language of a subordinate. The sovereign man practices the unbothered exit. When he is finished with a conversation or a meeting, he simply ends it. He doesn't wait for a lull. He doesn't look for an excuse. He says, "This has been productive. I'm leaving now." Or simply, "Take care." And he walks away. He doesn't look back. He doesn't do the half-turn to see if people are still watching him. By being the first to leave and doing so with total certainty, you communicate that your time is the most valuable asset in the room. You leave people wanting more, and you leave them with the feeling that they were just in the presence of someone who has a world far more interesting than the one they are currently in. Your exit is your final act of dominance. One of the most powerful ways to dominate a conversation without being loud is the echo technique. When someone speaks to you, instead of jumping in with your own opinion, you simply repeat back the last 3 words of what they said, but as a statement or a calm question. Example, them. "We're really struggling to hit these deadlines because the team is overwhelmed." You. Pause. "The team is overwhelmed." This forces them to elaborate. It makes them feel heard, which builds a weird kind of submissive rapport, but more importantly, it keeps you in the position of the judge. You are the one gathering information. You are the one directing the flow of the conversation with minimal effort. You are dominating the narrative by letting them do all the work while you remain the silent pillar of the interaction. To dominate correctly is to move through the world like an invisible hand. You influence people, you set the tone, and you win the deals. But you do it so calmly and so naturally that people don't even realize they are following your lead. They think they came up with the ideas themselves. They think they chose to agree with you. This is the highest form of power. Loud dominance creates resistance. Quiet dominance creates compliance. By being the only person who isn't pushing, you become the only person everyone wants to follow. You aren't a dictator, you are a gravity well. You aren't forcing the world to change, you are simply being so stable that the world has no choice but to align itself with you. In the 21st century, much of your dominance is established before you ever meet someone in person. It happens through text, email, and video calls. Most people leak their low status through their screens. They use too many emojis, they respond within seconds to prove they are attentive, and they write long, rambling paragraphs to justify their positions. To dominate correctly in the digital realm, you must practice digital economy. The response lag. Never respond to a non-urgent message immediately. By waiting, you signal that you are busy with your own mission. You are not an on-call servant for the world's whims. The power of brevity. If you can answer in 3 words, don't use 10. Lengthy emails are a sign of a man who is trying too hard to be understood. Short, precise messages are the language of those who are already understood. The period over the exclamation. Never use exclamation marks in a professional or high-stakes context. They signal excitement and a need for approval. The period is the punctuation of authority. Video call stillness. On a Zoom or Skype call, while everyone else is shifting in their seats and looking at their own reflection, you remain perfectly still. Look directly into the camera lens. This is the digital version of eye contact. Your stillness on a screen full of moving heads makes you look like the only stable point in the network. True dominance is tested when the environment turns physically chaotic. Most people are socially calm, but physically reactive. If a glass breaks, they jump. If a dog barks, they flinch. This is the startle reflex, and it is the enemy of the sovereign mind. To dominate without pressure, you must undergo the desensitization protocol. Intentional exposure. Place yourself in loud, chaotic environments, a busy shooting range, a crowded boxing gym, or a loud construction site, and practice maintaining a zero-blink focus. Controlled breathing. When a sudden noise occurs, your body wants to take a sharp, shallow breath, the gasp. You must override this. Train yourself to exhale slowly when something startling happens. When you are the only person who doesn't flinch at a loud noise or a sudden movement, you project a level of dark authority that is terrifying to others. They realize that if a physical explosion doesn't move you, their words certainly won't. You become the human equivalent of a mountain, permanent, unmoving, and indifferent to the weather. We have discussed the look-through technique, but a master of dominance understands that different situations require different visual pressures. You must be able to shift your gaze like a photographer shifts a lens. The social gaze. This is for building rapport without losing power. You look at the triangle between the eyes and the mouth. It is relaxed and warm, but the slow blink remains. The power gaze. You focus intently on the third eye, the spot between the eyebrows. This creates a feeling of intense pressure for the other person. It is used when you are giving a quiet command or setting an iron boundary. The predator gaze. This is the most dangerous. You focus on one eye and do not move. You expand your peripheral vision to take in their entire body language while your central focus remains locked. This gaze is used to stop an aggressor in their tracks. It signals, I am not just listening to you, I am hunting for the moment you fail. By mastering these gazes, you can dial the pressure of a room up or down without ever saying a word. You are manipulating the nervous systems of others through your visual focus alone. Watching this is the first step. Living it is the path. To move from reactive prey to dominant sovereign, you must follow the sovereignty blueprint. Week 1, physical stillness. For 7 days, you are forbidden from fidgeting. No leg shaking, no face touching, no unnecessary movement. If you move with intent. Week 2, the vocal filter. For the next 7 days, you must pause for 3 seconds before responding to anyone. You must eliminate all filler words. You speak only in downward inflections. Week 3. The reaction fast. You will intentionally seek out things that annoy you, rude comments, slow traffic, and you will maintain a stone face. You will not complain, even in your own mind. Week 4. The strategic absence. You will decline 50% of social invitations. You will turn off all non-human notifications on your phone. You will inhabit the silence. By the end of these 30 days, your pulse will have changed. Your friends, family, and colleagues will notice a weight to your presence that wasn't there before. You have built the inner citadel. Most men are reaction machines. They are like a piano. Anyone can walk up and press a key to get a sound out of them. A middle C of anger, a high E of excitement. They have no agency over their own music. The man who dominates without pressure is the ghost in the machine. He recognizes that his body and his emotions are just hardware. His will is the software. When a stimulus hits the hardware, the software intercepts it. It asks, "Does reacting to this serve my mission?" If the answer is no, the reaction is deleted. This internal veto power is the ultimate secret of the calm mind. You aren't suppressing your emotions. You are curating them. You only allow the emotions that provide tactical utility to reach the surface. This makes you a black box to the world. They can see what goes in, but they can never predict what comes out. This unpredictability is the highest form of dominance because it makes you impossible to manage. We live in an age of emotionalism, where we are told that our feelings are the most important thing about us. This is a trap designed to make you weak. Feelings are fleeting, chemical weather patterns. Your principles are the geography of your soul. Dominance is the ability to prioritize your principles over your feelings. If you feel tired, you work anyway because you are a man of your word. If you feel angry, you stay calm because you are a man of discipline. If you feel afraid, you move forward because you are a man of mission. When you live this way, you dominate the most important person in the world, yourself. And once you have conquered yourself, the rest of the world is just a collection of minor details. You no longer need to seek dominance. It is a natural byproduct of your internal order. In a negotiation, the person who can walk away without looking back is the one who wins. Most people fail because they are attached to the outcome. They need the deal. They need the job. They need the girl. This need is a scent that others can smell from miles away. It smells like submission. The man of the hidden advantage enters every negotiation with the already dead mindset. He has already accepted the possibility of failure. Because he doesn't need the result, he is the only one who is truly free. He can sit in silence for minutes. He can say no to a bad deal with a smile. He can walk out of the room and never look back. This total detachment is the most powerful negotiating tool in existence. It puts the other person in a state of panic. They realize they have no leverage over you. You are the final boss because you are the only one who isn't playing their game. You are playing your own. The journey to mastering dominance without pressure is not about becoming a tyrant. It is about becoming a king without a crown. A king doesn't need to tell people he is the king. His presence, his silence, and his discipline speak for him. The world is a loud, chaotic arena where everyone is shouting for attention. By being the one who doesn't shout, you become the one everyone listens to. By being the one who doesn't react, you become the one who controls the action. By being the one who doesn't seek power, you become the one who possesses it. This is the end of the script, but it is the beginning of your reign. The inner citadel is open. The hidden advantage is yours. Go forth, stay calm, and dominate the world without ever raising your voice.